Ram Krishna Hari. Let's this Navratri celebrate feminine power in a different way by learning about some female saint poetesses and spiritual guides. The first in our series will be a Varkari saint from the 17th century, Bahinabai Siurkar. Bahina was born in an Orthodox Brahmin family, and by the time she was 3 years of age, she was married off to a widower Gangadhar Pathak, who was 32 years of age. This child marriage was a very prevalent custom in those days, that is, I'm talking about the 17th century. When Bahina attained puberty, she went to her husband's house, as was a custom in those days. But due to some family dispute, she had to leave the house with her husband, and she had to leave Devgaon also with her parents. So Bahina, along with her parents and husband, travelled far and wide. They reached Pandharpur, and at Pandharpur she realized that she had a spiritual calling. She realized she was not interested in a married life, but she never complained about it and did her duty as a wife to Gangadhar Pathak. Bahina had great spiritual experiences at Pandharpur. She was greatly attracted towards the Varkari cult, where she saw these pilgrims with their simple devotion chanting the name of Lord Vitthal. She yearned to be a part of that, but her husband was very rigid and did not like her to be so totally involved in her devotional practices. Now, the family, that is Bahina, her husband and her parents, travelled from Pandharpur to Kolhapur. At Kolhapur, someone gifted her husband a calf. The calf has a special importance not only in Bahina's life but even in the Bhagavata Purana. According to the Puranas, it is believed that a person who has attained a certain level of spiritual enlightenment but because of some fault is not able to reach or get into the ultimate, that is, absolve himself into the ultimate supreme Brahman, is reborn as a calf in the next birth. So if you see, a calf or a cow is considered the holy mother only because of its enlightened nature. So the calf, along with Bahina, travelled everywhere wherever she went. One day she attended the kirtan of a very learned Swami, Jairamji. She and the calf were so engrossed in that kirtan that after the kirtan was over, the Swamiji, Jairamji, got up and patted the calf and also Bahina on the head. But this gesture did not go very well with the onlookers, and quickly they went on to inform her husband that the Swami had touched her, that is his wife, on the head. On hearing about this incident, her husband rushed to the spot and beat her mercilessly. Seeing her pain and suffering, the calf which was along with her dropped down dead. Seeing the calf dead, Bahinabai could bear it no longer and she too fell down unconscious. It is said that she was unconscious for 3 days. After 3 days, when she came back to her senses, she realized that she had got a vision of Lord Vitthal, and some words which sounded very sweet like nectar were being poured into her ears repeatedly. These words were uttered by none other than Sant Tukaram, and the words were the mantra which he had initiated her into. The words were Ram Krishna Hari. After this incident, Bahina started having visions of Sant Tukaram and Pandurang. She had mentally made Sant Tukaram her guru, and it is very important to note that her husband dissuaded her from singing any of Sant Tukaram's abhangs or even calling him her guru because of the vast differences in their caste. This was due to the social norms prevalent at that time. One day it so happened that when he was in that abusive mood, he hit her very badly and abused not only her but even Sant Tukaram. Immediately after this, he felt that his entire body was consumed in flames, and he was feeling very uneasy. At that time, Bahinabai, as a dutiful wife, irrespective of the fact that he had really domestically abused her, sang Tukaram Maharaj's compositions which cooled down his burning sensation in the body and also served him like a dutiful wife. It was then that Gangadhar Pathak, her husband, realized the greatness of Sant Tukaram and also of his wife. He decided that he, along with his wife, would go to Dehu and have a darshan of Sant Tukaram. It is a very noteworthy thing that Bahina was one of those few contemporary saints prevalent during Sant Tukaram's times and who actually noted down many of his abhangs too. Now, Bahinabai continued to remain at Dehu for quite some time along with her husband. It is said that they started their family there, and very soon she also started rising up or ascending in her spiritual ladder. A few years later, it is believed that she told her son Vithoba that he was her companion, her son, her brother in the past 12 births, and this was a 13th birth that she had when he was her son. She also told him that this was her last birth and after that she would attain salvation. Both mother and son felt very bad. They had tears in their eyes because this would be their last birth together, and so a composition that she had written at that time is really very emotional. In her biography, Atma Nivedana, which is self-revelation, she mentions all this, and she also says that she had to blend her spiritual life with her duty as a mother, as a wife, and so one of her favorite abhangs is Sant Tukaram's abhang itself. रात्रन दिवस आम्हा युद्धाचे प्रसंग अंतर बाह्य मन आणि जग. That is, for us people who are on the householder life, we have a lot of strife and struggle not only in the outside world but even the internal, that is within ourselves, because our mind doesn't want to be a part of the outside world, the outside society, and the world outside does not accept our spiritual bent of mind. So this strife or this friction between the two worlds is something, she says, in which I am grinding, and that is why she calls this abhang very special to her. She breathed her last at the ripe age of 72. She did not want any samadhi or any place which should be dedicated to her, because as she mentioned in the Atma Nivedana, this was her last birth. She wanted to remain alive and eternal in the minds of people as a disciple of Sant Tukaram and also as a writer of many devotional compositions or abhangs inspired by Sant Tukaram himself. One of the most important compositions is that which is sung by many Varkari saints, which ends with Tuka Zhala Kalasa, that is, in the Bhagavad Dharma. She talks about each and every stage of building a temple, of course metaphorically, and she talks about each of the saints. That is, it is Sant Jnaneshwar Mauli who has laid the foundation, but the top of the temple, the apex of that temple, the temple of Bhakti, is none other than Sant Tukaram. So, we pay our homage to this great Varkari saint. She has gone through a lot of struggles in life, but she did not give up her duty. She did not believe in renouncing things. She felt a blend of both was necessary for her, as this was going to be her last birth. So once again, our respects at the holy feet of this female Varkari saint, and we continue to have our series on the remaining 8 days of this season of Navaratri, which is emboldened with the feminine power, so that we remember that it is not empowerment in the 20th or 21st century that we should be proud about. In fact, so many of these saints, poetesses, spiritual guides have laid down the foundation of women empowerment long before the world was even known by the rest of the world. So, we again meet you with the next saint, female saint, in the next session. Till then, we keep chanting Ram Krishna Hari.